guys, we're here. We're going to be talking about the elements of design. The first two elements that we're going to look at are going to be color and line. With color in particular, what we've got to keep in mind is that color has the biggest impact on design because it can be interpreted in so many more ways than the other elements. So we're not just going to look at this and be like, oh, this color represents this. This color represents this. Color is a bit fluid, so we know that interpretation is up to each individual. So we know that if we put a bunch of colors together, it's not going to just represent one aspect. It's a multitude of aspects. So we know that colors can be used as symbols. They create temperatures, movement, and they can also create moods and emotions. If you guys have time, jump onto YouTube and look for the green lady. She's got a really cool background story. She's like this older lady and like I think her 60s plus, and her favorite color is green. And she says that she essentially wears green because it just puts her in such a great mood. So everything in her house is green. Her hair is green. Her nails are green. She just loves the color green. So it's a really cool story for you guys to check out. Also, what you need to know about color is learning about what color works best for you will help you decide how to dress for different situations. You also want to keep in mind too that how you dress should apply directly to what you're doing. So if you're going for a job in more of a corporate America type deal, then you're going to want to be more business professional. If you're going to more of like an on-the-job training where you're required to be out in the field, depending on what that kind of field is, you want to make sure that you're wearing proper footwear and you have the right clothes on. There's a reason why construction workers wear brighter clothes or they have safety vests because they need to be seen. If you wear a safety vest into the office, it might look a little awkward. But you know what? If you're going to rock it, I say rock it. So here's some examples of different colors. So here, we kind of have a very professional looking maroon suit here that's got some of like the gold aspects to it. This could be somebody that, number one, maybe they're on a business trip. Maybe they're a groomsman in a wedding. You don't know, but what you do know is that this is a crisp, clean look with a rich color. Down here, we kind of have like a yellow orange, very laid back, casual. She looks like she's on vacation. So it's a very laid back look, but the color is perfect for like springtime, really more into summertime. Over here, we have another kind of summery look as well. We have kind of a white lace yellow lace overlay on a white shirt. So it really does make it pop out and not blend in so much. So again, it's beach time. It's very casual. She even has the added aspect of the necklace, which looks like it has white daisies on it, which we know have a yellow center to it. So over here, this is a favorite of mine, this green. Number one, the texture is amazing on it, but we're going to get to texture later on. But this is just a really rich green. She can dress it up. She can dress it down. She's even got her nails to match it as well. So this is kind of a fun one where, again, you pair it with the straight pant leg, which is what it appears that she's done. And you can be very fashion forward and go into a little bit more of a kind of a retail high-end place. Maybe not one to wear to the office, again, but if you work in a very fashion forward industry, would be something great to work with. Over here, we have this gentleman who is definitely a man on a mission, probably like a business owner. Again, it comes to that deep, rich color, but it's also a brighter color too, which sometimes brighter colors in suits are hard to work with because typically the old school thinking is that whenever you have suits, you tend to wear darker or muted colors because you don't want to distract away from the person itself, but he's using this to his advantage. You can tell that he's young, he's innovative, he potentially owns his own business or is growing his business. But this is kind of the perfect picture of respect, but also very fashionable as well. And then down over here, we've got this kind of deep indigo, kind of violet top here that's paired with a pleated skirt. So the textures are vastly different. And again, we'll get into textures later on. However, this color is really rich. It works well with the outfit and is a nice transition, but she's got a little pop of color there with the blue. So she really works with trying to play those colors up. So that's kind of what you really need to know about color. So we're going to move quickly over into line. The one thing I really like about line is that the fact that its kind of goal is to create illusions. So we're going to look at a couple of illusions. So my question to you is looking at these two images, is the circle in the center the same size for each set? Does this one look bigger? Does this one look smaller? What do you guys think about that? In actuality, both circles are the exact same size. So what I want you guys to keep in mind with that is how we look at these images and how we pair different patterns up together can make the body look either larger or smaller. So keep that in mind when it comes to line. We paired larger circles around it, which made this look smaller. This circle over here, we paired it with smaller images to make it look larger. Here's another example as well. I want you to look at this image and count the black dots. If you guys notice, every time you try to go and stare at the black dot, it changes to white and the surrounding ones tend to go either a dark gray or a black. So again, it's using the element of color and then using the elements of line have created this illusion. A lot of your elements, when we learn about the other ones, you'll see that how they all connect together. Okay, here's another example right here. Are the horizontal lines, so these lines over here, are these parallel to each other or do they kind of slope? If you look very closely, you'll see that they are actually parallel. But since each line has a black and white square paired with it, and then the squares are slightly off, it gives you the illusion that you've actually created other lines and your initial lines, these horizontal ones, actually look kind of a little wonky. But they actually are 100% parallel to each other. So what does that look like in fashion? Well, we know that our eyes tend to follow the direction of the lines. If you guys have taken an art class, these are the same elements and principles, but now we're just applying them to fashion. So our eyes do tend to follow the most dominant line because that line creates the most influence. It also helps break up space and shape within your garments. And we're going to learn about space and shape later on. So examples of what a dominant line would be in a garment, that would be like your center seam, your waistline, whether we do bold stripes. In this example over here, her entire outfit looks like a really, really, really dark charcoal gray. And she used line right here as the dominant part. Even though they're very thin lines, they go through the whole outfit. So it's through her neckline to her shoulder, her sleeve, and then also down the side of her pant leg. So that's actually the dominant line there. And that really helped break up the space and not make the outfit seem so boring, but added kind of a pop of attention to it. We know that lines can create optical illusions. The old school thought is that if you used to wear horizontal lines, it would make you seem wider, and if you wore vertical lines, it makes you seem taller. Now, I don't want anybody to be afraid of horizontal lines. You can play around with different line and stripe thicknesses, and you can really actually use it to your advantage to accentuate the areas that you want to appear smaller and the areas that you want to appear larger. So there is a way to use lines and the illusions to your advantage. So line is the simplest element to create in fashion. It's the most essential because it does divide the area of space and shape. So it kind of helps break up what could be something very, very boring, and it helps break it up and add some pops of flair to it. So we do have different types of lines. The ones that we're going to look at is the outline and the style lines. So your outline is literally the outer edge of the design. So if we were to look at this garment right now, and we were just to make this entire image one color, you just looked at the exact outline of it. So if you can see my mouse tracing everything, it doesn't matter what's on the inside. All what is mattering right now is on the actual outline of the garment. So that's your actual outline. Your style lines, those are used to divide up the space inside of a garment. So within style lines, we have two types that we're going to look at. We have decorative lines and structural lines. Your decorative lines are lines created for decoration only. So that's essentially going to look like, let me pop down to some examples. These right here, these are all decorative lines. If I were to take out all these different colored stripes, her shirt is still going to exist. Okay. Same thing with these pants right here. If I were to take out all those lines, those are still going to be a pair of pants. Same with his. Actually, same with all those, now that I see that. Your structural lines are lines created through seams of the garment that are needed to keep it together. So let me jump up here at one of our other examples, and we will see, let's see, right here. This, you can kind of see it in his arm, the seam that connects the sleeve to the actual jacket itself, that's what we call a structural line. If I were to take that seam out, he would have no sleeve whatsoever. Okay. Same thing with hers. That's the structural line right here on her sleeve. She's got another one on the neckline. If I were to remove those, they would be missing, the actual pieces themselves would be missing. Okay, so I want you guys to keep that in mind. If I were to remove, again, here's a seam line right here. If I were to move these seam lines right here on his lapels, if I were to remove this seam line that's on the top of his pocket, if I were to remove those, that is going to fall apart. You have to have those structural lines for the structure of the garment. Take them away, take away the structure, you have just a bunch of pieces that need to be sewn. Okay. So that's just a really quick recap over what color and lines are. Here's a bunch of other examples. Again, these are all decorative lines. So if you guys had any questions over this, I know this was super fast, but feel free to email me. I will answer as best as I can. I'll see you guys later.